Welcome to the first video of the YouTube channel. I'm Khan, a photographer and filmmaker, and you might have seen me on Anthony Ray's YouTube channel, and he recommended me to watch a lot of music videos and to give some commentary about them, like some technical aspects, because he figured that you guys might find this interesting. And since I have quite some knowledge, obviously I don't know everything about filmmaking and all that kind of stuff, he thought it would be he said that I should really watch a lot of music videos because some of them are so impressive and almost movie-like, so I'm very curious to see what we will encounter on this journey together. And the first one he recommended me is Stray Kids' Thunderous. I have heard of Stray Kids before, but I'm not really that familiar with their music or even their music videos, so let's go. That was a very nice swipe transition. As you saw right here, as a guy was walking by over there, they masked it perfectly so that the next frame would appear as this other guy would pass by. And you can only do these kind of transitions when someone's actually walking past your image or filling up the entire image. 나무꾼은 어서 돌아가시오. 여긴 나무랄 데가 없네. 납작해질 리 없는 콧대와 핏대와 함께 세운 집대. 훨씬 더 웅장하게 되는 경적 소리. 악당무리의 뜨거운 비가 돌아온 몸에 번져. 소문 날 군들의 모임에 쏟아지는 눈빛은 freezing cold. I know you're forever. Okay, that's cool. So probably a lot of visual effects, VFX we call, going on over here. I think in this part it was very cool that they added these like thunder, like these lightning strikes in the background on the beat. That was cool. And to actually make the effects really work, they probably had some lighting in real life which was actually matching the color and the brightness of the lightning, because you really need to sell the effect that it looks real, because otherwise the VFX is kind of pointless and just looks super fake overall. And I think that they went with orange hair for the guy, I'm sorry, I don't know his name, because it contrasts very nicely with the blue background and the building. And that's probably also why they picked like the red things. I'm sorry, but I don't really know what they are, because there's just some beautiful color contrast going on in this way, and it just makes everything way more interesting. And this is something they do a lot as well, like in these K-pop and J-pop type of videos, right? Like they do this swipe transitions. So in two different scenes, they swipe from right to left, and right in the middle, they actually like speed up the clip, and right in the middle, they cut to the other clip, so it looks actually seamless. And usually they also add some kind of blur to like really sell the effect, and that you actually really can't tell that they're switching from one scene to the other one. In this one, they obviously used a lot of the smoke. That was cool. That was a beautiful swipe transition as well, like going from up, down. Over here it's the same. Here you can also see that there's some nice color contrast going on. So they purposely gave him a red outfit and the background is blue.
이거저거 귀찮아서 도리도리 말이 너무 많아 자꾸 나서지 좀 마라 Why you mad, why you sad, why you tick, tick, tick I don't ban you 얼레리 걸레리 멋있는 척들이 양진 발끝 조찬도 따라오지 못해 여기는 팬들 들어봐 질투가 전부 한쪽으로 지워놓고 버려 기득함 악당 물이 뜨거운 비가 돌아온 몸에 번져
Sorry for spoiling the drop. So the thing that I wanted to say is that in a lot of clips, you see this kind of distortion going on in these edges, and there's like some weird artifacts going on, and you can see that when he moves the lens from right to the left, that there's this like weird kind of warping and distortion going on. I assume that all of these videos are shot on anamorphic lenses. So a normal spherical lens has like a round opening, and whenever you point at something and you see some blurry things in the background, those are going to be round. But the thing with anamorphic is that actually your image is stretched in a way. So you get the same vertical resolution, but the image is way more stretched. And because of that, your bokeh balls, so the things in the background, are going to look oval instead of round. And whenever you point your camera at lights and stuff like that, you're going to have pretty cool anamorphic flares. Let's see if I can show you what I exactly mean. So here in the background, it's usually pretty obvious with cars. Not with these ones because the backlights are usually not bright enough. Here, did you see that? Like this blue anamorphic flare right here? That's what you get with anamorphic lenses, but in this one it's not that hard yet. There, did you see that? I think, yeah, right here. Like here you see these like horizontal flares, and that's a cool thing that you get with anamorphic lenses. Just a pretty simple transition with VFX, and they obviously used something that was there as a practical in the real world, and they used that as VFX to transition over into the next scene. Oh, here we have them again. Here you can really tell that it's shot on anamorphic because of all of these oval bokeh balls I was talking about, and these flares. Those are really the reasons why you want to shoot on anamorphic, because of those unique characteristics, you know? Oh, that was nice. That was sick. I have to rewatch that again. That was such a dope transition.
dirty. Keep on talking, we don't play by the rules.
That was sick. I also really like these animations in between. Like, I kind of dig anime TV shows, even though the only one I've seen is like Avatar, Aang, The Last Airbender, and Naruto, which was very, very cool. But overall, this was a pretty cool YouTube video. Anthony told me that this one is like from 4 years ago and that the new ones are like way more impressive. So I'm very curious to see how those are going to look like. And I also really like how a lot of these music videos actually kind of look like musicals in their own way. So yeah, that was pretty cool. But we went into this video blind, so let's see if we can actually find some nice information about budgets and what they actually shot this with. So I can't really find specific budgets, but it's probably around like 200 grand to 500 grand, something like that. It was not the most spectacular and most... I mean, I've seen some K-pop and J-pop and other music videos that were just out of this world, and I think those were super expensive, so... Now we are going to watch Stray Kids Maniac. As usual, we're going in here blind, and after a while I'm going to try to find out a couple of things like what camera, what lenses they use and stuff like that. At least if I find that information. So let's go.
Let's go! 정상인 척 다들 힘 좀 빼. 짓고 있는 미소들은 새 락이 풀리면 다 똑같지. 눈은 날 무서워 허브제는 풀렸네. 정신을 간신히 잡지. 눈 한 번 깜빡이고 빼. 다시 세상이 정한 정상인 코스프레 준비.
So here they perfectly transitioned. Like, they were using the same location obviously, but they just changed the lighting in the background, and then they match cut from the other lighting of this location to the new lighting in the location. That was pretty cool. And then obviously, like how he turned in frame, that was pretty cool.
Mashup, mind blow, 정신은 backup 프로토타입 내 속은 언제나 freaking monster 유행 같은 친절함은 저리 지나 rotten 내 통수에다 시원하게 욕해도 다 먹여 Hop in, 순진하기만 보다가 크게 다짐 호의가 계속되면 권리줄 아래 toxic 이러니 돌지 warning
Maniac 나서 빠진 것처럼 미쳐 Maniac
핑핑 돌아버리겠지
Maniac Frankenstein처럼 걸어 Maniac Maniac.
Alright, so let's rewind it back because we missed a lot of stuff. So obviously this was some kind of visual transition. Like it looked like they opened the door and then they entered this train right here. And over here they obviously... So to be able to achieve a transition like this, the guy has to like fill the entire frame and has to come past your camera. And then you're actually going to mask your background, and then frame by frame you are going to adjust that mask in order to have like a perfect transition from one scene to the other. And I really like how they use these visuals, and especially because they're very colorful, so that's very nice. And the lighting in the background, like in the train itself, is also very nice. I really like these like blue cyan-like tones, as you can see over here. And the way it's lit is they're actually using a lot of these RGB light bars, as you can see over here, over here. There we have ones as well. We also have some ones standing on the floor right there. That was sick. Like when he moved his arm and then these visual animations showed up. And I really like how in these frames they were wearing like these green sweaters because it contrasts very nicely with the background and the blues.
Maniac, 나서 빠진 것처럼 미쳐 Maniac.
Something that I really like in these type of videos is they use these kind of stop motion robotic movements. Like, I think that's really cool, and it's super nice effect. It's probably pretty simple to do. It just have to be nicely choreographed, and the arm, I think it's some kind of robot arm, has to move at the right time, and then you can get this kind of effect.
Maniac, Frankenstein처럼 걸어 Maniac, Maniac.
Maniac, 나서 빠진 것처럼 무슨 Maniac. 핑 돌아버리겠지. Maniac, 비정상 성이 정말 Maniac, Maniac. 다 터진 영실밥처럼
결국 본색이 드러났지.
변하지 않은 life it live.
That's nice. That was so satisfying. Like doing these simple match cuts, they're so satisfying. And over here they also play a lot with lighting. Here they switch from like just regular lighting to like a lot of blues and reds. Again, because they're nicely contrasting. Color contrast is very important.
다 터진 영실밥처럼
결국 본색이 드러났지.
변하지 않은 life it live is something on. 정상인 척 다들 척좀 빼. 짓고 있는 미소로 pressure. 라크 불면 다들 똑같지. 눈은 날
That was nice. Not really sure how they did that. So they first had like a clean slate, I think. So they first had this location filmed without anyone in there. And then they have him doing these different kind of things. And then they add him with different layers, like doing all kinds of different things. And then they added some kind of visual effects on there.
눈은 날 못 속여. 내가 걷는 이 거리는 다 지뢰바다. 언제 터질지 모르는 둠만 volcano. 전했던 바람도 언제 바꿀지 몰라. 다들 숨긴 채 살아가 like a seal tornado.
Popping 순진하게만 보다가 그게 닥침. 호의가 계속 빼면 걸리들 않은 닥치. 이러니 돌지 원이. Maniac, 나서 빠진 것처럼 미쳐 Maniac.
핑 돌아버리겠지.
Maniac, Frankenstein처럼 걸어 Maniac, Maniac.
And this scene right here, I think it's clear that I used green screen because obviously this location just doesn't look real. You have this part on top over here, and the asphalt over here is like torn down completely, so it just doesn't make sense.
처럼 걸어 Maniac, Maniac.
Maniac, 나서 빠진 것처럼 무슨 Maniac. 핑 돌아버리겠지. Maniac, 비정상 구성이 진단 Maniac, Maniac. 가득해 두 눈은 lunatic. 모든 감각이 날 서있지. 예쁘게 포장한 대로 매번 갖던 언니. 흘러가다 보면 결국 드러나겠지. 지금까지 내면의 그 모습이. Yeah.
Maniac, 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 Maniac.
You cannot stop with the thing. Maniac, 나서 빠진 것처럼 무슨 Maniac.
I really like this scene. I think it's one of my favorite because like duplicated the buildings in the background and put it upside down. I think that's a very cool effect. Let me see that again. That was nice. They just like changed the lighting in the background. They used some kind of blur and then they slightly zoomed out. It was a pretty cool effect. I was pretty bamboozled by it. This was nice. I think it was a bit more visual effects heavy compared to the other Stray Kids video I watched. So let's see if we can find some information on the lenses and stuff like that. Okay, so the concept was like two different worlds, a deserted alternate dimension town and the real world. And like I thought, they use a lot of motion control, precision rigs, a lot of robotic camera rigs. But I think it's something typical, like in these kind of music videos. And unfortunately, that's about all the information that I can find. So please let me know in the comments down below which video you would like to see next. Peace!